Hi everyone, so today I'll be going over intro to programming. This is our Python unit and this can be our last unit. Also, I'm voice overing everything because I completely forgot to turn on my mic. Okay. Alright, so you have your week 16 lecture quiz. It's gonna be due on the 12th, which is gonna be next week Monday as always, 11:55 p.m. That's gonna be your last lecture quiz in tests and quizzes in La Lima. And then you have your async lab activity. It's this one, the Python unit. It's gonna be due on Saturday on the 10th before 11:55 p.m. Just follow the instructions at the end of the lab and yeah. And then the next thing you have your final exam. It's gonna be on next week, Tuesday, on the 13th from 9:45 to 11:45 a.m. So 2 hours, 75 questions, and it's gonna be in the lecture room, which is our guys. So you have your Python lecture refresher. Hopefully you went to lecture and you already saw everything, but basically you're going to have to do a transposition cipher, which is a method of encryptions by which you shift the position by specific unit through plain text according to a regular system. So Python is a programming language with simple syntax, which means that it's easy to understand. It's used in businesses and many different spaces in engineering and such. It's very, very popular and a very common coding language that you have to learn. The general principles for Python is it has built-in functions, which are instructions that an interpreter can execute. You know, like in Excel where you had functions that was already predefined. It's kind of like those. So there's also define functions, which is a block of code that performs a single action. You can also customize and make your own functions that you can define itself, which we'll be doing today. You have variables, which are containers to hold information to be referenced later. Like, for example, in a cell, in Excel, where you can have a value inside a cell where you can reference and hold values in. And then you have a parameter, which are variables that are defined in behaviors of function. So when you say you want to define a function and you put open parentheses, within the open parentheses, those are your parameters that you have to fill in later. Okay. So this is going to be your lab activity scenario today. So basically in the Valorant protocol team, someone has been tampering with the employee meals. It's going to be a duplicate agent from Earth 2.4, and before they were bonked and replaced, the original agent left a note hinting at who the imposter might be. So this is the message that was left behind. This is the message we're going to have to decode. So first, you're going to have to open up Visual Studio Code, and then you're going to have to click on file and then new file and type in your name dot py, which is going to be extension for Python. Once you do that, make sure you locate somewhere you know you can safely find and save it. Once you have done that, you're going to make sure that you have Python downloaded. So you're going to go to the extension tab on the left and look up the word Python, and then you're going to download the first one that pops up if you spell it correctly. Come on. Yeah, click on that and you can see that I have already downloaded, so I don't have to install it again. But yeah, so you have to make sure you install it. Another thing is you have to download Python on your computer to be able to run it. It's an extension that you're going to need to, like, it's not an extension, it's a program you need to run to be able to decode stuff. So what you're going to do first to test out that your Python is working is you're going to type in print open parentheses quote hello world. Once you have typed that in, you can click on the run button on the top right side of your screen. And once you click on that, it's going to ask you to select an interpreter. I have it downloaded. Again, I have Python, the application downloaded on my computer already, so I can just select it. But if you do not, it will have a pop-up telling you to download Python. So I have it selected now, and now if I click on run, it would open up my terminal. And then you can see that now the word hello world has been printed on my terminal. So now that I know it's working properly, I will show you the next thing, which is going to be how to create a comment. So the way you create a comment is by typing in hashtag, and you can type in, this is a comment that won't be interpreted as a command. And then print, open parentheses, and then if I type in hello world, like for example, just world, you can see that the comment was not printed or anything like that, but the word print, the word world that was inside the print command itself printed. So comments are really useful because you can write notes and have comments yourself that you can reference later. It's kind of like for you, for example, if you're working on a bunch of code, it'd be good to make comments just know what's going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define a function to find the truth by shifting letter by specific amount. So we're going to type in define lasso underscore letter, open parentheses, letter, comma, shift amount. And then colon outside, just colon. So again, define is you're defining a function, and then lasso letter is going to be the name of your function, and then letter and shift amount is going to be your parameters that you want to input for the function. Again, somewhat similar to arguments in Excel. The next line we're going to type in is going to be letter underscore code equals to ord open parentheses letter dot lower open parentheses close parentheses close parentheses. So what this is going to be doing is we're going to type in the comment to explain what this is doing, but it's going to be invoking the order function to translate the letter to its ASCII code, and it's going to save the code value to the variable called letter code. So basically it's going to start the order function to translate the letter to the ASCII code, which is a specific value, right? So each number, each letter, each character and letter represents a specific ASCII number, and we are translating that to the ASCII number, and we're saving that number into the function called letter code, or the into the variable called letter code. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the ASCII number we're going to set up the ASCII number representation of the letter A. So you're going to type in A underscore ASCII equals to order open parentheses single quotations A and single quotations open close parentheses. What this is again doing is defining your ASCII number representation to start off with A. You want your letters to start off with the lowercase a. Basically, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to define the letter of letters in the alphabet, the number of letters in the alphabet. So again, we said that basically the alphabet, we want it to start off with a lowercase a. And now we want the alphabet size to be equals to 26. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to create a formula within this function to calculate the ASCII number for the decoded letter. Sorry, that my cat scared me. So basically this will take into account looping around the letter. So we're gonna type in, sorry, I'm typing the comment for that right now. So again, it's a formula to calculate the ASCII number for the decoded letter. And then you're going to type in true letter. Okay, come on. I can do this. True. I don't even know what I was saying here. True. What? True letter code equals to A underscore ASCII plus, and then there's going to be several open parentheses. So I'm not going to read it out loud. You can see it. But basically what this is basically doing, like what I just said, is it's going to calculate the ASCII number and it's going to loop around the alphabet. So it's going to calculate each number. So again, earlier when we did the letter code, we turned the number like the YJ to a ASCII number. And then now we're basically going to be adding we're going to take into account the looping of this whole process. Make sure that the indentation is the exact same. So taking out the comments, making sure that everything is indented in the correct place. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to convert the ASCII number to a character or letter. So we're going to type in decoded underscore letter, or Yeah, you're gonna convert the ASCII number to the character slash letter. And I'm gonna type in decoded underscore letter equals to character of true letter code. All right, the next thing you're gonna do is basically at the end of this entire function, you're gonna return the decoded letter back. So again, this entire function ensures that it converts each letter into the correct value. Now we're going to create a new function to turn the letters back into a word, a functional and sensible word. So we're going to type in hashtag shifts the letters in the word by a specific amount to discover the hidden word. So you type in define lasso word. I spelled this wrong, by the way. It's supposed to be lasso underscore word, but it's fine. We'll keep going with this until I have to go back and change it. But and then the parameter is going to be word and shift amount, colon. So basically now it's going to update. So what we're going to type in next is going to update each time another letter is decoded. So basically we're decoding each letter. And then once each letter has been decoded, we put it back into the word itself to finish it off, basically. So again, updated each time another letter is decoded. Decoded underscore word equals to, and then just two quotations because you want the decoded word to be empty. You don't want anything to be inside because you're going to put it within the function itself. It's going to add on within itself, basically. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to type in for letter in word. We're basically going to create a loop that iterates through each letter of the order parameter. So again, for letter in word, we're going to type in decoded letter equals to lasso letter, open parentheses letter, comma, shift amount. And then we're going to type in the next line, decoded word equals to decoded word plus decoded letter. So again, the lasso letter function is invoked with each letter and shift amount. Once that decoded letter is which is the result, basically is stored in the variable called decoded letter. And a decoded letters value is added on the end of the decoded word value. So again, let's just say you have 5 characters, right? Once you decode the first character and make sense of it, you will put it back into the entire word itself, the blank decoded word, right? Once you have decoded the second letter, you put it back into word, eventually decoding each letter within the 5 character word, let's just say. And then that word would now be a sensible word because you have fully decoded it. And that's what the loop is for. It will keep going. So the last thing we'll do, we'll end the loop by ensuring that the decoded word is sent back to the link of the code that has invoked its function. Again, the decoded word will now be sent back to the link of the code that invoked the function from the start. So we're going to type in return decoded underscore word. Again, making sure that your spacing is correct. Now you have created 2 functions. You have defined 2 functions, and the last thing we have to do is we have to call upon the functions. So now we're gonna making sure that your lining spacing is correct. As you can see, if I did it indent it correctly, then my function would not work. Everything is very indent sensitive within Python. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to decode a word. So if you were to type in print and then open parentheses quote, the first word is shifted by 10 is, again, when you put in print, open parentheses, and then the quote you put into the parentheses, those are just strings. Those are treated as quote unquote strings. What strings are just words, exactly what you typed in. And then, so again, the first word shifted by is, and an end quotation. Also, outside of the end quotation, you can call upon the function we have defined, which is lasso word. So again, lasso word. Again, lasso word calls upon lasso letter. That's why the order matters. Okay, you have to do the lasso letter first before you do lasso word. And then you can put in the first parameter, which is the word you want to decrypt, and then the shift amount, which is 10. So again, YJ is the letter you want, the word you want to decrypt, and then 10 is the shift amount. Now I'm having an error, and the reason why is because I had spelled lasso word wrong. So it'll pop up, it's saying that lasso word is not defined. I realize this mistake, and you can see I go on to line 19 and I change it to lasso word. Now the error is gone. If I run it, now it would say that the first word shifted by 10 is it. Now I'm going to copy that line and just paste it twice. And to define, to like decode or decrypt the next two words. So I'm going to open this up, copy it, paste it twice, and I'm going to change the word first to second, and then the word first to third, and then I'm going to change shifted by, it was shifted by -7, and then shifted by -2, or 2. Was it just 2? I think it was just 2. And then the second lasso word the word I wanted to decrypt was, what was it? PZ, yeah. And then the last word I want to do was QY something something. I can't really see on my screen right now. Once I run it, you can see that I'm actually having issues because it's not decrypting. The reason why is because I didn't change my shift amount. So it's still gibberish. So I want to make sure I change it to -7. And I want to change my next one to 2. So now if I run it, you can see that the code has been decoded and it says it is Sage. So now we know who the culprit is. So now, just quickly explain the ASCII table again. Each character has ASCII value. That includes lowercase versus uppercase. We only worked with lowercase just because we don't want to deal with issues. And basically, you can use an ASCII table to convert any character into a number. And then with the whole transposition cipher thingy, it's basically doing that process for you using Python. So it will basically convert the letter or character into a number, and then it will do the shift amount for you, and then it will turn it back into a letter or character or whatever. Kind of like this, right? It's it'll find the A letter, change it into ASCII, plus it by 2, and then change it back into a letter. So who is it? We found out that it was Sage, so we know that's the result. And good job, everybody. So what we're going to do now is you're going to basically reply to the email that I have sent out. You can attach either your Python file or your text file. Text file is just like if you wanted to copy your Python code in Visual Studio Code, copy it, paste it into a TXT, submit it. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Otherwise, that's all you have to do. And